Well,
conversation.
but the relationship is very critical.
Well, there's something here in the definitions that you put down, which I think is really important, which is, listening and, being helpful and being passionate about what you do so you can, try to convert them.
So what are you saying? Listening?
Listening and it's,
Passion?
yeah, but it's more than that,
It's
desire to help also.
And it's infectious too.
Yeah, I think that's
Feel
good.
that way.
I think that's a really good point, the desire to help. That one's really good.
May I just add one other thing?
Yeah.
I think that another key characteristic, maybe it's not even a characteristic, it's a skill that can be developed. Some people have it, and some people need to hone it, is being able to read read the situation or the audience that you're in. Because that will influence how you'll be, it'll help you determine who your target is, quote unquote.
Yeah, I would
mean,
sum
I
that
don't
up
know.
by saying picking the right people.
And I think that's
Yeah.
something, some people
Yeah.
have that as a skill and
Yeah,
some people need to hone
right.
it. So it could be a characteristic, but
Yeah.
it could be something that could be developed.
Picking and reading.
Yeah,
people,
because
right?
being able to read people and who you're targeting can be a big difference.
The other one that, I would add, that, as I said, nobody has to be all of these, but I would add love to sell. Some people truly love to sell. It's really fun. And other people find it hard. And so if you love to sell, it makes it all easier. I would add another thing. I would add characteristics of rainmakers. They do something every day. They do something every day to advance the effort. And that gets back to what I said about the consistency. I would add driven. They are driven. Okay. There are three things that rainmakers do. Can anybody, any thoughts? There are three things they do.
They initiate contact. One.
Yeah, but I'm thinking of something, this is a finite action.
Research.
Yeah, I mean, that you're getting, I mean, one, I would say that these are ingredients of what both of you said. They have a system. For getting business. Now, if you remember, I said before that fundamental is optimism. So, if you're optimistic that you can get business, then there's a reason for your optimism because you know how. And how implies there's a system. So you put your system to work. The second thing that is they generate revenues. So that's a do. And the other thing, which is what happens before you generate revenue, is they generate leads. So these are the three things that rainmakers do. And the reason why you become optimistic is because you do all that. And everybody has to get started at a certain point. It doesn't happen overnight. It's a development of years, but it's what happens. And that's why the optimism comes. Okay. So let me give you this little example. Let's see here. Can you share with us?
Sure.
This is an example. I took out some of the examples from this book, and I thought a number of these are interesting. This was a young guy, lawyer example, getting involved in sales early. I got involved in client development as a first-year associate. So point number one, this is not somebody who was a senior guy in the firm. This was a young person. I was at a party, okay? He went to a place where there were going to be people. Okay, so that's one of the fundamentals of people who network. They go to places where there are going to be people, and ideally, the right people. And by the right people, I don't necessarily mean people who are in high society. I mean people who are working in companies that could be, and they don't have to be the president. They are working in companies that could be clients. So in other words, it would not be going to a conference of New York deli owners, no. But it would be going to a conference of maybe venture capitalists and young startup companies that have money to spend, where public relations is going to be important for those companies. That's what I'm talking about. I was at a party hosted by a neighbor who was a trustee of a college. Colleges, universities, they are good places because they have graduates. At the party, I talked with the president of the college. This guy knew what he was doing, who commented on some labor relations issues he was facing. So he talked to a person who had some influence. When I got back, there's a T left out, sorry about that. When I got back to the office, he did what good sales networkers do. He was going to engage in a follow-up process. He was going to do something with the person that he met at the event. He researched labor relations law at colleges and universities and sent him an article and asked him if he would like to meet a senior partner with our firm. So he wasn't experienced in selling, so he brought in a more senior person who was. The three of us had lunch. He got the prospect together. It was a follow-up process. And he liked the senior partner. After that, he hired me. And I thought this quote was good because this guy did all the right things. And most people don't. They attend the party, and that's the end of it. Okay, so this is the one when we were talking about rainmakers don't have to fit a certain personality type. Because I remembered the firm that I was with for 10 years before I started this firm, which was about the 5th or 6th largest firm at the time. Interesting, our firm was a lot larger than that firm was then, but at that time, this was in the 70s.